All right, all right. Happy Tuesday, good people. Happy Tuesday to everybody who is at the sound of my voice right now. Hope you hope you're having a wonderful evening. Hope you had a wonderful day. I certainly did. It was a good Tuesday for me. It was. I tell you what, let me get this whole thing going. I got some great guests who are going to be joining us a little later in the episode. All right. Come on in here. Let me know where you're from. It's Talk It Out Tuesday with Tori and Miss Tanya. I'm gonna bring Tori on in to the mix. Let me bring her in the mix. How you doing, Tori? Tori?
What's up? How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm blessed.
Yep. That's a good thing to be. It's Tuesday again. The weather was pretty good for me today, so I have no complaints about that. I'm feeling very grateful. I don't know what's going on in what do they call Darlington, Dollartown?
I think some people do. Yeah, some people do call it Dollar Town. I call it D Town.
Okay, well, I'm
But some
asking
people do call it Dollar Town.
because I saw an event going on and I'm like, well, where is Dollartown? Where is that? And I wanted to make sure that I wasn't confused. Good, good, good. Let me tell you something. A little bit earlier today, I was talking with my mobile mechanic, and lo and behold, you got to figure out who people are. So let me get to why I ended up talking to him. So I'm driving and somebody stops me and they say, you don't have any brake lights. And of course, that's a very dangerous situation to be in and definitely a situation that I don't want to be in. So of course, I had to call my mobile mechanic, make sure that I could get that straightened out. And something today, I don't know what it was, but I was like, man, let me ask you a question. I said, are you into like something artistic? I'm like, do you write? Do you paint? I'm like, what is it that you do artistically speaking? Because you never know what people do. I know that he's a mechanic, but what else do you do? What type of hobbies do you have? And I found out today that he is a writer. And that just like blew my mind. Take your mute off. Yeah, so, my mobile mechanic, he came to fix my brake lights. It ended up being a fuse, but I found out that he's a writer and he's a photographer. He's actually writing a book right now. Can you believe that?
Wow, that's awesome.
And I don't know what made me I don't know, it was just like he's out there, working on the truck. And I was like, "Man, let me ask you a question." And so, I'm always getting into people about the arts and culture are very important for any town. And me myself, I'm an artist, you're an artist, so I had to find out. And the brother actually is writing a book, and he's a photographer, and he's a really good photographer.
Hmm.
Interesting, right?
Really interesting. I
Mhm.
missed the
So,
first part. I missed the first part of what you were saying because
well, that's what I was talking about. I just brought you up to speed. I saw you. I said, "All right, well, Tori, I saw her do a little freeze." I said, "Well, we playing freeze tag, internet freeze tag today." Wonk, 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 uh. So I said, "Well, let me just go ahead and let the people know what I was getting ready to tell you." So I told them the story, and now you're
okay,
here, and I shared it with you.
that's what's up.
So that's what I wanted to talk about a little bit. We got some great guests coming in on with us today. So I'm pretty excited to be able to talk with them. We've got Anthony Hall, who will be coming in. He's with the Florence DeMarco Center. Also, we have Carla Eady. She is actually running for one of the school board seats, seat number 2 here in Florence School 1. So those are going to
Mhm.
be some good people for us to talk to. What's been going on in your world? What you want to chit chat with me about before we bring our guests in?
Hmm. Let me see. I was actually the thought that I had on my mind was if someone automatically disconnects from you, you haven't done anything to them, they just stop talking to you. And then they want to come back like nothing ever happened. Do you just pick up like nothing happened? Like, what do you do? Like, if people just disconnect from you for no reason and they just pop up out of the blue, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, you've been calling and
Mhm.
They don't answer. They just stop talking to you all of a sudden. But then
So
they
is
want to,
that
and then they want to circle back.
so is that kinda like a ghosting type thing, and then they come back, or is the ghosting when they just totally disappear and never come back? I don't
Listen,
what is that?
it could be either or. They can come back. They could stop talking to you for a while, and then they can reappear, or they can just stop talking to you completely.
I don't know because, listen, we're adults. We do this podcast, what's the title of it? Talk it out. So,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like I'm the type of person, like, you can talk to me. We don't have to agree on everything, you know? We
yeah,
do not have to agree, but I'm definitely open to have the conversation. You gotta tell me what's on your mind. You gotta tell me what you're feeling because if I did something to you, and I didn't know, explain it to me. If I hurt your feelings in some type of way, well, explain it to me or talk to me about it. Say, hey, you did XYZ. I really didn't appreciate it. It made me feel, like this. But you gotta let me know. You play put your big girl panties on. All right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
talk to me, you know?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's how I feel about it. I don't know. And like you say, they're trying to come back around. So what I mean, how are you feeling about it? Are you letting them back in? You feel like if you feel like if the friendship is worth it, then I guess you do that because there are times when we don't get along. So I don't know. Where are you at with it?
And there's times that people go through things, and sometimes, cause me personally, I'm bad about that. Like if I'm going through something, I can just pretty much fall off the face of the earth. So I guess I take that in consideration as well. But sometimes when people just stop talking to you and for no reason, I kind of just try to give them another chance. But if it's something that's continuously happening, then I pretty much disconnect
Yeah,
totally.
because then that becomes somewhat of a pattern. So
It does.
I understand that a little bit.
Yeah.
But you said something really key. Sometimes people are going through some things themselves and they're trying to
Right.
figure it out for themselves and they're
Right.
just not communicating with anybody. It might not
Right.
be just you.
Right.
So I hadn't
Right.
even thought about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're right. You're right. But here's what I say: talk it out, people. Talk it
Yeah.
out. I talk to Tori every week. Hmm.
Every week.
Every week, and we do not agree on everything.
And don't.
No, we don't. But let me go ahead and let the people know. I'm gonna go ahead and welcome her back and get our guests in here, at least our first guest. I want to let y'all know, welcome back to Talk It Out Tuesdays. We are here to have these conversations. You should be having conversations. And today we are talking about election 2024. We've got a guest with us today who knows the ins and outs of what's going down and how it's going to impact our community. Joining us today is Anthony Hall from the Florence Democracy Center. This brother is all about making sure voices are heard and that our votes count. So let's get into a conversation with Anthony. And Anthony, welcome to the show.
Hello, hello, hello. Hey,
How you doing?
Tori.
Hey, Anthony. And happy belated birthday, Mr. Anthony.
Thursday.
You had a birthday
Thank you.
recently.
Yeah, Thursday. Thank you. Yes.
All right, Anthony. Go ahead and you know, we've been doing this as Talking Out Tuesday. I've been wanting to have you on here. I've been pretty much letting people know that we were about to have you in here on here soon. Talk to us a little bit about the Democracy Center, what you bring to the area and how that impacts local votes and the local voice.
Okay. Well, as you say, it's the Florence Democracy Center, and the Democracy Center was started a few years ago by a woman up in Virginia. She started a organization called the Center for Common Ground. Well, there are 14 democracy centers in five southern states, and now they have one in New York. And I don't know if I'm going to stick with this background, but but
Well,
we'll see.
listen, it's not even about the background, brother. It's about the information that you're sharing
Okay,
with
okay.
us.
And so how I got into it is, I've probably been in some kind of organizing ever since I got here. But when Mayor Teresa Myers was running to be the first black woman, first female in Florence, we got involved in the campaign. And it was out of that interaction that they decided that, Florence would be a good place to put a democracy center. Now, what we do is it's a hub. It's a place where you go and, let's say, like, part of voting is information. It's being able to contact people. It's addresses, it's phone numbers, it's those type of things, that kind of infrastructure. So what the Center for Common Ground does is they supply me with those kind of tools. They give me the information that says that this area is not voting. This section is not voting. The turnout is low here. So I can go get information. Now, the idea behind the whole process is to get people interested and educated about voting. And that's the goal.
Okay. Definitely. And that was actually, that leads into the question that I really wanted to ask you. Like, what are some of the biggest challenges you see in educating voters on any particular issues, and especially the issues that are on the ballot for 2024? How does the Democracy Center work to help educate people, and how do you guys help to combat misinformation?
Look, that's probably one of the biggest challenges. But what we do is we're in a information and an app driven society. So we've got a couple of tools in our tool belt, like Active Vote, Outreach Circle, that are excellent in being able to stack information and share it, right? It's like, if you want to know what's in the bipartisan infrastructure bill for South Carolina, you can go to this app. If you want to know who's your representative, what's your representative's platform, what's the last thing they voted on, you can go to Active Vote. So that's one of the things that we do as far as education. We offer a little civics lesson, about voting and the different forms of government and the process. We offer that. And like I say, and it's about trying to push as much information out there and lending my voice to the process and talking to as many people as I can when I can.
Right. I got you. Um, as it relates to a lot of the works that you do here in the community and young people, how does the Democracy Center engage young voters and encourage them to participate in the political process?
You know, I I think that that's a challenge in itself. Part of it is that most of the time I get a chance to interact. It's always seems to be one-on-one. So I've tried to come up with some things, some ideas. I've got a spoken word contest that I've been trying to get traction on. Trying to meet young folks where they at. We did ceasefire rallies. We were talking out there addressing gun violence. 3, 4, 5 years ago. We were holding rallies behind gun violence. So we've always tried to establish a platform to be able to reach young folks. But
It's
now
a, it's a Go ahead.
good. Now I was gonna say now it's like when I first got here, I think coming to South Carolina was good for me in the fact that it really and truly tapped into my activism and organization, or
Mhm.
my help gift, right?
Right.
So I would go to I was in the NAACP. I've been an NAACP vice president and president of a branch. But when I used to go to these meetings, I always thought something was odd because, I would be like the young guy. I'm 50-some years old. I'm the young guy, right? 50. And the thing about it is that we got to get we've got to get our young folks to get engaged in this process,
Mhm.
because this is the time to pass the torch.
I tell you what, um, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, they have been able to tap in with young people, and they have a huge social media presence. They've been meeting them where young people are. And as you obviously can see, they have a lot of young people behind the campaign
Yeah,
who are working with the campaign because it's very youthful. It's
yeah,
very
yeah, yeah,
new, it's very
yeah.
energized. So it's obvious to me that they have tapped in and they are listening to young people because I see it all over TikTok, all over Instagram. They've really found a way to communicate with them. But I was just curious about what it is and how you all were dealing with some of the young people here locally. Now, what I want to do is I want to bring our next guest in today. We also have another special guest joining us in the conversation. And she's someone who's stepping up to make a difference in our community as well. And we're here to keep this real. She is here. She's running for our local school board and she has a vision to share. She has a passion that she wants to share, and we're going to find out what plans she has for our school. So, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Carla Edie.
Hello, everyone. And since y'all were trying to show off y'all little Steeler stuff, check this out, baby. I'm a Steeler sister to a sister. How about that?
All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. It's good to have you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, we were having a conversation here and we're talking about the local election, the national election here, 2024. And we have to think a little bit more about what's going on locally and not just what's going on nationally. And the school board is actually a part of politics. Talk to us a little bit about what inspired you to get into this race and why you're interested in being on the school board.
Good evening, everyone. And what inspired me was my Heavenly Father. Um, I went through an episode in 2019, and I lost my ability to talk. And as I began to go through my situation, and they told me that I never talk again, but I heard my father say, "You will talk again because I got need of you." And this was the time in the season that he said, "I need you to stand up for the children." I have been coaching for the city of Florence for almost over 30 something years. I have volunteered my time and my talent. I am a graduate of South Florence High School, went on to play ball at Claflin University and full ride scholarship. And I always had passion for people, um, all type of people, all nationalities of people. And so by me being a former employee for Florence School District 1, but not only being a former employee for 15 years, but also a product of Florence School District 1. And so God told me now was the time for me to stand up and be a voice for the children. So that's why I'm running, and that's why I'm interested, because I got the heart for people, especially our children, and I only want what's best for the children. As I stated, I value education, and not only that, student has right as well, and so that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to fighting for is for those that don't have a voice. I want to be that voice for them because there was a time in my life when I went through some things as a young girl, I lost my voice.
Mhm.
But then once I gave my life to Christ, He gave me back my voice. So I know what it feels like to be without a voice.
Right. Okay. Anthony, I want to bring you in on this as well. How do you all get involved with the local elections and how important is that? What role do you play when it comes
Um,
to
you
go ahead?
know, a lot of we do the same thing. We treat the local elections just like we do them all. They're all important. Every election is important. We've moved from used to be a time, you only see people talking about the election maybe 3, 4 months before election time. Everybody seems to get up for it, but we are uh, engaged in the community around voting 365. We also assist those folks who seeking office, with with um, with assistance, as far as developing platforms and those type of things. Uh, our goal is, because we're nonpartisan, is to get the votes, to get people to the polls,
Right.
not just every 4 years, but every time there's an election, and trying to make them understand that what happens locally affects them more than what can happen in Washington. And the school board really and truly is, if we haven't learned anything over the last years or so, that the school board thing is very serious,
Yes.
because they wield a lot of influence, right? So, and sometimes we don't think about it, but that's how they infiltrated. They infiltrated from the bottom, and they just trickle in for, they controlling what we read, what we do, what we, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, so, but it's stressing the fact that what happens locally is very important.
Right.
You consider the last mayor's election. Florence has 40,000 folks, right? But you had about 3,000 people that cast ballots, right? I've never seen, you know, that's just 3,000 people, and the election is over. No, not even any opposition from the other side. You know, like whoever wins the primary, boom, and only 3,000 people um, thought that was important enough to come out and vote. So there's definitely work to get people. That's half of our problem, is that we're not consistent voters. We vote about 26%, maybe all the elections, but at the average, we're probably one out of every three elections. That's what we have. That's the problem.
Yes, we have to get people to understand how important that is. I want to ask you this question, Miss Edie. What are some of your priorities as it concerns improving the quality of education here in Florence School District 1?
My main priority is I want to bring prayer back into school. Um, I think prayer is vital. When we noticed back the time that we was going to school, they had prayer in school, and we didn't have as many um, violent um, things going on in the school. And so that's one of my main focus is bringing prayer back into school. Another one of my main focus is um, reach one, teach one. Um, to me, all kids are valuable, um, no matter what background you come from, no matter who your parents are, they are valuable to our society. And not only that, I want to, bullying is a very serious problem in our school system. I think we need to pay more attention to our children, especially when they're in class and they're being bullied by their the other parts, counterparts. Because when we look at it, a lot of kids are acting out, and there's so much violence in the school because um, they don't take serious excuse me, bullying serious enough. So a lot of time we just brush the kid off. Oh, it's gonna be okay. No, it's not, because that child has been traumatized by somebody that is constantly bullying them. And so we have to get some type of handle on bullying. I feel like if we get a handle on bullying, then there won't be so much violence in the school system like it is now.
Okay. Well, um, what are some ways that you think you might be able to get parents and the community involved in this as it relates to bullying? What type of involvement do you think might be important for that, or do you feel like there should be certain school policies or curriculum? What do you have to say in regard to that?
To me, I think we need to get the parents involved. We need to get the parents um, more involved, to get the community to come together and let's sit down and see how can we address the situation. Not only do we need to get the parents involved, we need to get the teachers to take it more serious, to get the teacher more involved. When a student come and tell you that they are being bullied, we shouldn't look at it as they're just saying something, because if a child is being bullied and they come to you as a teacher, you should take it serious. And whoever that person that's bullying them, you should have not only a meeting with them, but you need to bring that child parents and that bullying child parents into a meeting, and with the principals and the right people that need to be in place so that we can handle that situation, so we can let them know that bullying is unacceptable, because you are not here to school to be a bully, but you are here to learn and make friends.
All right, Anthony. Um, I think she has talked and put out a few of her points here. How important do you feel um, it is to help school board candidates get out here and get their message out here? Uh, are there ways that you are able to assist them in this respect?
You
If you
know,
could,
like I say, that one of the things is it's working on a platform. Um, and that's just developing a platform. Once you get in there, this is what I want to achieve. Boom, boom, boom. The other thing is, I would suggest this is that, and if I probably was where I had another computer, I would be able to do this. But you go back and look at that race. Go back and look at those races. School board C2, right?
yes,
Correct.
Right. So you go back and look at those. Look at those races. How many votes did they need to? How many votes did it take to win? How many votes were cast? And when you get there, it gives you an idea of what kind of work you got to put in. You know what I mean? So you and then so or how you gonna target people. So let's say, and it's amazing because some races around here, it can be anywhere from a couple thousand to a couple hundred, right? And so you get yourself we get addresses and we target a certain number, and the goal is to get the turnout, because elections are about turnout. Whoever turns out their people wins, right?
right,
So
absolutely,
there are things that we can help you with, and I'd be glad to help you with, uh, um, and just to help you get prepared for it. But the one thing I always say is that we offer it to anybody, right?
right.
So it wouldn't be something like I say, hey, look, I'll share or try to assist you. But if somebody else came in, I wouldn't share. I'm not in a position to do that. So yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Well, everybody, go ahead and drop in the comments below. Let us know if you have any questions. If you have any questions for either one of our guests, if you have a question for myself and Tori, go ahead and get it in the comments. We want to make sure that you are a part of the conversation. You can go ahead and hashtag Talk It Out Tuesdays and just be a part of the conversation. Now, Anthony, I mean, we're in political season, and like you say, you're working with a nonpartisan group. I understand that, but as we see that the I guess I should say, let's see, just the climate of the election right now. It has changed a lot since we
Mhm,
have Kamala at the top of the
mhm,
ticket.
mhm.
Where was your mind, and what is your mindset when that whole change came about?
Well, I tell you, I was. I was, like I said, I was on Biden. Hey, look here, I know Biden wasn't looking good, and but at the same time, I was more or less like this. It's policies that matter to me, character and the heart of a person that matters. You know what I mean? So, so, so I was there, and yeah, I probably was like everybody else, but like I don't know. And after the debate, I got being like, man, that didn't go like I thought.
Hmm.
And but and if I say this is, let's say like I might have not been all sold in on Kamala,
Hmm.
but once she got there, then it was like, bam, yeah, 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 this is her Esther moment. You know what I mean? This is it. So I was and the energy, and then it just became one of those things where I thought, because one time they were talking about the age of this guy, the age of that. Well, see, I've always been one of those people. I always have look. No offense to anybody listen. Look, we need to get out from under the old white man, right?
Amen.
Right. We got rid of our old white man. Stepped aside. Got one more old white guy to get past, and you might have a chance to do something. You know what I'm saying? You might have a chance to move forward. That's why I say young people. It's like, hey, look. It's like they trying to pass you. They're trying to pass the baton to you. They're trying to pass the torch. Take it.
Right.
Take it. Take it
Right.
now. Do something with it. Change this system.
All right. Miss Edie,
And,
what is your
and, that,
thought?
and that's my aim. The charge has been passed to me. And that's my aim, is to make a change, because change are necessary. And when I thought about what you said about Kamala Harris, it warmed my heart, because so many times we look at the outer appearance, but God knows the heart of his people. And I look at it like this right here. Everybody deserves an opportunity to, to make a change. And so that's my main focus. My main focus is to make a change for our children, because they are our future. Everybody deserves to be treated equally, no
Absolutely.
matter what your race are. I feel like you got the you should have the right to have the same um, educational as any other nationality have, no matter where you come from.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Um, Tori, I see we got a lot of people coming in the house. You want to go ahead and get in those comments and let us know who is joining us here today.
Okay. Veronica SM Nettles, she gives the heart emojis. Joe Cummings with the heart emojis. Deborah, she said, hey, hello, Carla Edie. Deborah Bruin in the house. I'm just saying. Amina says, peace and blessings. And Dr. Ann Apostolic Purpose Jackson says, this podcast has been very insightful. I was raised and educated in Florence Public School District 1. Congratulations, Apostle Carla Edie. And is that Queen Bree Wood said, how can we make our people comfortable to vote and to get more into things to change our community? That's a great question. How can
Mhm.
we make our people comfortable to vote and to get more into things to change our community?
Mhm. Well, I tell you what, I wanna speak on that a little bit if I can. You absolutely should already be comfortable enough to vote. You should be. You have this opportunity. You have an opportunity to make a difference. You have an opportunity to put someone in office who you feel like is going to do right by you. And at this point, I got to say, it's almost this particular election is almost not as much about politics for me right now as it is about morality. As I
Mm.
look at the candidates and I look at what one side is talking and straight talking out the side of their necks. They're flip flopping on so many different things. As you notice now, Trump is trying to step away from Project 2025. He can't listen. We already know. Your vice president selection wrote the forward to it. Okay. We already know that many people from his administration are part of this and were, authors of this particular project. So he's trying to back away from it now. Now he's trying to say that he wants to support IVF. He wants to make it a part of, I just don't understand what he's trying to do. He just really wants to get in office. They want to ban educate the Department of Education. How can you ban the Department of Education? You just the amount, and that's just one thing. There's so much there that he's doing. So it's really about morality. I feel like any woman, and particularly young women, you should care enough about yourselves, about your future, about your girlfriends, your daughters, your aunts. You should know that you should have autonomy of your own body. So I don't know what more you need, but certainly I feel as a woman, I'm already comfortable and I want to make sure that I am going to remain comfortable because right now there's some things going on that I don't like. That's what's making me uncomfortable. I'm voting so that I can be comfortable. I'm gonna pass it on to you, Tori. What do you have to say?
That was one of the key things for me as well, the
Yeah, that's real
morality.
talk.
Like I love the unity, and like I said, I'm like Mr. Anthony. Like at first, of course I was going to vote for Biden, but I was a little nervous about Biden, and I was hoping that the baton would be passed on, and I'm glad it is. I'm just loving the excitement. I'm loving the unity. Um, it's just like because I'm gonna be honest. Of course, I vote every election now, but I was starting to get a little discouraged, and then
Mhm.
that's why sometimes I shy away from. I'm not on social media as much these days because of all of this, the stuff that I'm seeing. Because they'll take a clip of something that someone is saying and just blow it, just take it out of context. But I'm just loving the momentum of everything that's going on. I'm liking what I see, and like I said, I'm excited. I'm excited again.
Yeah.
Like I was when
Yeah.
in 2008 when Barack ran. I'm getting excited again. And like when we had when they did the DNC convention, I was all in because at first, I'm gonna be honest, I said I'm not gonna watch that. But then when I think Tanya started showing clips and different people were saying different things that was going on with the DNC, I turned it on. And once I turned it on, I couldn't turn it off. I was like, okay, I'm hooked. And that was actually I hadn't really watched those since Barack left office. I haven't been watching them, but once everyone started posting on social media and showing different clips of different people, then I got locked in, and I'm ready. I'm
Yeah,
ready to
and
get
I'm
better.
fired up. And
Yeah,
that's the thing. People have to you have to do something. I feel like in Michelle Obama's speech, she said, do
Mm,
something,
mm.
yeah,
right?
yeah,
All
Look,
right,
yeah.
Anthony, go ahead.
look, and I'm glad we get there. What we do is we do postcarding, we do texting, we do phone banking, and we do canvassing. Now I'm gonna say it to you like this right here. We talking about with Biden running, for me, it was policies. You know what I mean? The policies. But once he stopped running, the policies gonna still matter because they'll continue, but it became something else. It's the standard. Like I have a standard for the kind of person I want to be represent me on the world's highest stage. Donald Trump is not that standard. I don't want no nuts, ignorant, foul mouth, crass, classless, white boy represent me as far as an American go. He's not worthy of that position. You
No,
know.
he never was.
So now you back. But the most part is it's a moment to bring in another generation. Was it Generation X? Step up to the plate. You know what I
Right?
mean? Let us, so
Gen Z.
and the other thing, like we say, is this: it's you just can't go to the polls this time by yourself. You got to vote and do something else. You got to vote and write some cards, make some phone calls, knock on some doors, take somebody with you, get somebody right. You can't just rely on your one vote. You got to make your vote. You got to match it with something. You know what I mean? You got to match it with some effort. Like you got to treat it like you need 3 votes to get over the hump, you know, and you can't nobody get them but you. And I
Yeah.
think that if we just do that, I mean, all the way to, I don't just want him to lose. I want him to lose bad.
Listen, he, you know, he
I
has
want him
to,
to bad.
because if he doesn't, I mean, let's be realistic. We already
Yeah.
know that this is a side who is prepared to
Oh yeah, they do
cheat.
for some trickery.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they doing a little
yeah. So
trickery.
yeah, so you need to make sure it no doubt, leave no doubt,
No doubt at all.
leave
I
no doubt.
agree.
So
The
I agree.
same way we need to reach one and teach one, we need to do the same thing when it comes to voting. We need to make our voices be heard. And I'm excited about what Mr. Hall said because I'm hitting these streets. I mean, I'm going to do community events. The first one that kicks off September the 21st on Levy Park. I had the opportunity to speak with Pat Gibson Hyde, was one of my mentors. And I'm excited because it's time for a change. We cannot allow that redundant cycle of Trump to repeat itself. Even with our school board system, it's time for a change. I mean, we can't no longer sit back and not let our voice be heard. I know when I was growing up and back then, we had people on the board that was willing to put their life on the line for the children. But
Yeah.
it's not that way like it once was. And I want to bring that back. I'm willing to put my life on the line for the kids. I want to be that voice that's crying out for the children. And so I'm proud of Kamala Harris because she's not moved by what he's saying. She
oh
is
yeah,
provoked to keep going forward
Yeah.
and keep showing that she means business for the United States of America.
I wanna
He's
ask
a,
this question.
can I
I
say
want,
one thing?
go ahead.
He's a bully, and that's a
yeah,
bad thing.
You're right.
He's supposed to
yeah, he
represent
definitely.
us as the United States. But when I listen to how he belittled all people, special of color, he's a bully, a grown bully.
He
And,
is.
and we think that is acceptable. So now we figure out why kids does what they does because our leader got that same mentality.
That's outrageous. But what I want to ask, and I agree with you, Miss Edie, 1,000%. Young people definitely need to have a voice. They've got to have advocates for them. They have to. But I want to ask this question since we're talking about the national election here a little bit. How do you feel Kamala being on the top of the ticket? How do you feel like that actually influence the rest of the ticket, the Democratic ticket, and people who are in these local elections right now, who are running for Senate and who are running even like Miss Edie herself? What type of advantage do you feel like that brings, Anthony?
Look, I think I think that her energy. I mean, she look like I said when she got in there, I was like, but it was just her. It was definitely her time, her moment. She ready for this right here, and the energy that she has will
Keontae!
reverberate all the way down the ballot. You know, because turnout is turnout is turnout. Now, unless you somebody going in there, look, you just got to go in there and hit the straight D, you know, whatever. But and sometimes we are bad about that because I've seen places where sometimes, let's say, 4 people ran for a city council seat. You got a chance to get 4 seats, but one person might get 800 votes. The next person might get 650. The next one got, instead of letting everybody just go like you done went in there. Now you done went in there and started talking about I'm gonna vote for her and I don't like him and and that's the kind of stuff we do. But if we go in there and we just do what we supposed to do, she gonna bring them out. And I think that this is it. This is it. Hey, they better grab this thing while they can. I believe because South Carolina, like they got a super majority in the House, State House, where they got way more Republicans. Like they don't even have to go to committees. They just, hey Bob, yeah, thumbs up, and they just do what they want to do. And the reason that they do it is, like, I mean, I know it's more white folks in South Carolina than it is, blacks and this, that, and the other, and probably more Republicans. It's not like the makeup of all these races say it is. Majority of what we see is where black people do not go to the polls, and that's why it look like it do. That's why it look like it do in Darlington, you know.
Absolutely. I got you. Well, listen, as far I feel like there is an advantage because she has created all of this energy. So I
Mhm.
feel like the local candidates just need to do exactly what you've been saying here, and I've been seeing a lot of that. So the thing is, we've got to also let the voters know, the community, they have to know. Listen. You've got to support these local candidates. You need to know who they are. You get to ask them questions. You get to get in their face. You hold their feet to the fire just like you would a president. The same way that we are here and we can criticize any candidate, how Trump is being criticized, you get to do that locally as well. So make sure that you know who they are. Go wherever they're having these events, wherever you see that there's an event, whenever you see them coming and they're out here canvassing, when they're coming to your churches, ask them questions.
Mhm.
Ask them questions. Be upfront. You have to know what you want, and you have to know what type of person you want in your local offices as well. All right. I see we got a lot more comments coming on in. Tori, you want to go ahead and give us a little update with the
Yeah, go to
people?
the timestamp with Joe Cummings at 7:38 p.m. because he had a question.
Okay.
And Joe Cummings said, "What would you say to our teenage voters and young adults about the importance of researching the candidates and voting?" I think that's a good question. And let me see. Also, we'll come back to that one, Tanya. Go to Dr. Ann Apostle Purpose Jackson at 741. She said, "Come up with a plan that targets the young people. Find out what they would like to see happen and include them in the race. Let the child lead."
Mhm, mhm. In
That's good.
fact, that was a good answer for the
Joe?
question that was asked by Joe as well. And we
Yeah.
kind of we spoke on that just a little bit.
Okay. And Wanda says, "Congratulations, Apostle Edie. You are the best candidate for the Change Influence School District 1, seat number 2." And then Queen Bree Wood said, "Thank you so much. A lot of women and men need to hear this and get into the changes of life. We can't do none of it without God. Once we unite, God gonna show up and show out. Amen, amen, and amen." And then Regina says, "Apostle Edie, congratulations on your journey as your advocate for change in Florence School District 1, 2024. You have done the work for a time such as this to be successful." Amina says, "He's so self serving. We have to show that we will choose differently this time. We know how he responds to losing, inciting violence and insurrection. We cannot afford to allow for such an indecent man to be elected." Talking about Trump.
Yes. I mean, listen, and that is an understatement. I feel like he just wants to be in office because he doesn't want to go to jail.
He
Yes,
love power. He
yes,
love power.
yes.
And I'm just like watching like a lot of the ridiculous things that he's doing and that he's saying that is so childish to think that an adult man is doing that. He's up in wee hours of the morning and night making tweets using AI to make these ridiculous posts and pictures of Kamala Harris, and he's selling all kinds of things. He was selling Bibles, he was selling gold tennis shoes, then shoes with the flag. He's selling a cutting board. I'm like, this guy he's doing this for a profit. But what I'm trying to figure out is like, what is he doing with all of this money?
Mm.
What is
Yeah.
he doing with it? Why are these people continuing to do this? And I don't know if you guys have been watching this, but I've also, because I'm watching both sides. I have to. I want to know what's going on. I just don't want one side of the story. I need to have a little bit of balance. But I'm paying attention and I'm watching how at some of his some of his rallies, people are walking out, and these are his people. Have you guys been seeing some of that?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Well, what are your thoughts on that? Because if they're walking out, what is that saying? Now, I know we can't really. I don't trust the polls. I'm not really watching the polls because we know what's happened with that before. But we're actually watching supporters walk out while he's still speaking. What does that really say?
It's a for reflection of what we need to do, make the better choice, and especially if you got the Republicans that are actually you got Republicans that are coming out and voting Democratic, and then if they're walking out, then you guys already know he's not the candidate that we need. We need to get out and vote and do what we need to do, put in the work,
Mhm.
and just do what we need to do. But that
Absolutely.
says a lot for them to walk out. That says a whole lot about who his character, his judgment, and like I said, is the crazy things that he's actually saying. It's time to because we cannot afford to allow him to get back in office. We cannot afford that. This election is so crucial, and like I say, I stated numerous occasions before. I have an 18-year-old, and this is going to be his first time voting in a presidential election, and he's like super excited. So, and we definitely have to get out there to encourage the young people. But there's some people, like I was saying earlier about the clip, they took a clip of something that Miss Harris said, and they just took. I just think they ran with it. The clip. I don't know if you guys heard that clip where she said the 18 to 21 are stupid. I'm like 18, 20. We don't make best of choices. She didn't say anything wrong, but
Mhm.
they're like blowing it. Well, did she say that she can't win my vote? I'm like, really?
Look,
Come on. I
look,
mean, they just blowing it out of proportion. But I think for them to be walking out, that says a lot about his character and who he is as a person. Because, like you said, Tanya, I'm real big on morality, and he does not represent what I stand for at all. So we just got to encourage people to get out there and vote. And I applaud Miss Edie for wanting to bring the prayer back into schools because I feel as if when the prayers was taken out of school, I think that's when a lot of things start to happen. So I definitely I wish I could vote for you, but I'm not in Florence. So
Then pray for me.
I'm wishing you well with that because I think prayer definitely needs to be back at school.
can, can, can I say something?
Yes,
But
sir.
and I'm gonna say this, and hey, look here, hey, I love y'all. We, but that's just one of those things I just have never bought into. And I'm gonna say this, I never, but I didn't get saved until I was 45, right? So for my first years growing up, they was praying in church. Prayer wasn't in me, right? So I've always been like this: is that prayer is something that nobody can take away from you, right?
Correct.
If I go to school, if I'm a praying person and I go to school, prayer is there with me. So I think that when the white folks came in, they took prayer out to school. No, what they did was they stopped you telling people how to pray. And they stopped the prayer being just only the Christians can pray, but the Muslims don't. Well, you don't want to hear their prayer. So my thing is that God is not something that they can take away from us. Us being able to relate and communicate with God is not something that anybody can take away from us. So that's one of those things that I get it and I know how to stuff, but I just reject that one, because when I was going to school, I wasn't praying, so, I didn't even know God, I wasn't a believer, none of that. So, and now that I am, I realize that they can't take it back. What you do is you teach your kids how to take that thing with them. And think about it. They still pray. They pray at football games. They get around the football games, they kneel and they pray, right? So it's there. They just want us to think it ain't.
All right. I see we
Yeah.
got William Stooks here. He says, I don't agree with prayer in school. Everyone doesn't have the same beliefs. And that definitely is an issue. Um,
Yeah.
I'd like to say something to that a little bit as well. And maybe we could think about it in a different sense because Will is right. everyone doesn't have the same beliefs. So maybe they might add a moment of silence.
Silence.
They could call it a moment of meditation. Therefore, within that quiet time, within that meditation time, whatever it is that your belief, your family belief, your religious belief is, you have that opportunity to get in tune for that day, to get yourself settled and motivated within your own motivation that isn't influenced by one particular religion.
Correct.
But hey, don't wait till hey, for the most part, your kids tell them don't wait till they get to school. They need to pray before they leave the house.
Right.
Pray
Right,
while
right,
they
right.
Right.
on the way. You know.
Right.
I
Right.
got you.
You
I
know.
tell
Yeah.
you I tell you what though, but there's several ways to think about this, and everybody's going to
Yeah,
have
yeah,
their opinion.
yeah.
So
Different.
I definitely leave that open to people. I want to thank you guys. I want to thank both of you because it's almost, I can't believe we've been here almost an hour now. It's time for us to wrap this show. So I want to thank both of you for coming in here and joining the conversation with Tori and I. Make sure that you come back and visit us again. I
And
appreciate
I
it.
will. Thank
Oh,
y'all for having me.
All right, all right, all right, all right.
And Mr.
You
Hall, I look forward to getting with you.
Yeah, Miss Edie, definitely. Me and you going we're going to pick up uh this conversation again. Like I said, I'll be there to give you some assistance. Can I say one thing before I go?
absolutely
I
go
need
ahead.
some postcard writers. I need some phone bankers. I need some texters. I'm gonna need some canvassers. I need somebody to buy me some postcard stamps. Make a donation, postcard stamp. No flags, no dogs, and if you ain't gonna do none of that, do something.
They gotta do
You
something.
gotta
I
do
agree
something.
with you.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, man, it was so good to have you in here.
Thank
Appreciate
you
you.
for inviting me.
Yes, 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 yes. All right. Let me get Tori back up in here. Tori,
yes,
you here?
ma'am.
You here? I'm
I just
here.
want
We did it
listen.
again.
I just want people to vote and just get out there and vote and do what they need to do. And going back to piggyback what Will said, that is correct. You know, people pray differently. But like you said, Tanya, I think whatever the belief is, we should each have our say, you know. And but I want to end on guys, get out to vote. If you don't vote, you can't say nothing. And I also want to, is it if it's okay, Tanya, can I shout out two people that celebrate their
You
birthday
gonna
on
shout
today?
some people loud? Go ahead, cause we still got to let people know what's going on in these internet streets, in these real streets. We just needed to go ahead and thank our guests.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mr. Hall and Miss Edie for coming in. Wonderful guests. It's always a pleasure talking to Mr. Hall. I met Mr. Hall years ago at a Stop the Violence rally.
Mhm.
Some years ago. So it's always a pleasure to have him in the building. And it's a pleasure meeting Mrs. Edie. Like I said, I wish her the best. I hope she's actually elected. And based on the comments, looks like you got an audience out there that will be voting in your
Mhm.
favor. So I wish you good luck with that. And like I said, I just want to give two people birthday shout outs. Sean Jackson of Hartsville. She's celebrating a birthday on the day. Sean is 50 years young on today. And also got to shout out to my classmate, Mr. Eric Samuel of Darlington, D Town, who's celebrating a birthday on today. So I just want to go to show them some love as well.
All
And like I
right.
said, Sean is with y'all, Tanya. She's in the 50 club now. I got a couple
Well,
more years before I join y'all.
come on over here. Come on. It feels good. Come on over here. All right. We got to let you guys know what's going on in town, what is going on. We have going on a free food giveaway. Yes, free food giveaway on Saturday, September 21st from 1 to 3 p.m. on Polly and Rose Street. That's right behind Iola Jones Park. They will be giving away food, hygiene products, and household items. Okay, so they prepared 100 bags to give away, and you must be present to receive the items. So if you want a little bit more information, make sure you call 843-206-0846 or 843-702-2593. And you can speak with Miss Gloria C.L. Jones. Also happening in Florence, we have Fashionable Sounds and Visual Lyrics on Saturday, September 21st at 5 p.m. at the Healing Artist Change. So that looks like a very nice, interesting cultural type of event, fashion, sound, and visual artists. So make sure you go out there. You can't say there isn't anything to do if you don't go out there and participate when it is. So don't say that. Don't say it. Also, Tori, I'm gonna let them know this from this week to all the weeks, all the way to October 5th, but it is quickly approaching us. We are having the Tiger Sneaker Ball, and yes, Mr. Cheeks will be in the building. That's on Saturday, October 5th at the PD Shrine. Make sure you come on out and support them Tigers. We gonna paint the town purple and gold just like we always do. Gotta let you know the DJ skills and DJ styles will be on the ones and twos. So make sure that you're out there and hosted by yours truly. Yes, indeed, Miss Tanya the Poet. I will be in the building. Also, I think Anthony Hall let you guys know this. There's going to be a Word Up spoken words and education event. All right, that's going to be on Saturday, October 20th from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Brooks McCall Park. You all know it as Brook Green Park, and they've done a lot of renovation over there, Tori. I don't know if you've been out there lately. We had our family reunion out there, and it was so nice out there. So make sure you guys come out there, support. There's going to be poetry. There's going to be prizes awarded out there. That is again on Sunday,
Sunday.
October.
I was
Yes,
gonna tell you
Sunday.
I think it's Sunday.
I'm missing said Saturday. It's on
Yeah, you said
Sunday.
Saturday.
Sunday, October 20th from 2 to 6 p.m. All right, free
Mhm.
admission. Make sure you bring your lawn chairs and your umbrellas are welcome. So we're going to be speaking light and life in our communities. That sounds like an event. Definitely, you got to get on stage and share a few words with the people, Tori. Come on out with your poetry.
I may have to write something specifically for that.
Share a little something with the people.
Or pull something out my bag, out my poetry book, but
You,
Imma
you
see if
pull
I
something
got
out.
time to write a little something for that. So,
You
yeah.
can. You can
Yeah,
make sure.
yeah.
But that's all I got for the people. We had a great conversation. Again, I want to thank Anthony Hall. I want to thank Carla Edie. I think
Mhm.
they added a lot to the conversation.
Absolutely.
Look forward to keeping this conversation going. Don't let people tell you that you can't talk about politics and you can't talk about religion because you absolutely can and you
Mm.
absolutely should. All right. But
Absolutely.
that's all I got, Tori.
That's all I got too. Peace out, y'all. Enjoy the remainder of your evening. Now, if you missed the beginning of the podcast, make sure you go watch the replay. And make sure you go like, subscribe, and comment on our YouTube channels as well. Miss Tanya TV on YouTube, Keep the Faith with Tori on YouTube, and make sure you like our Facebook pages as well. Okay.
Mhm. All right, all right, all right. All right, lady.